Hello, and welcome to another episode. And we are going to be here. It's me, by the way. I'm Mike McGlynn, and I'm of course with my friend, my pal, my comrade, my compadre.
Jonathan Moody.
And today we're doing a personal favorite of mine, one from the Hatchet series, Victor Crawley.
Woo, Victor Crowley. I do want to preface by saying this is Horror Film Lovers, the
I'm,
podcast. You know,
yes, horror film lovers. Yeah, sorry.
no,
I
it's
got,
okay. I kind of threw you for a loop because I think you didn't realize you were supposed to uh do it. You're running it.
no, I was waiting for you to do the intro. You're like, go on. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I was like waiting, and I thought you knew, and then I was like, oh shit, he doesn't. So there you go. Well, continue, sir.
Oh, well, this one is a nice, in my opinion, was a great love letter to all those great 80s slashers like Friday the 13th, The Burning, Halloween. Uh, and the best part was it was a modern day one. And what I love most about the series is all the fun mixture of like the humor in all of them with the just over the top grotesque kills. I mean, they're just ones that you're not going to forget very easily. Like these are ones that you'll be like, yep, like you'll go back and just to watch the kills again for that replay value alone. Not even despite the fact that the films themselves are actually quite hysterical and quite fun.
Yeah, that's the one thing I love about the Hatchet series is its humor in it. It's not just boring characters who like because you see a lot of movies where most of it's drama, for horror, in horror
Mm-hmm.
films. Like it's, oh man, I just got pregnant and now I gotta tell the guy that, right before, and they have no idea that they're all gonna die, so it doesn't even matter unless, like conversation, like, um, I think even this movie had that. Yeah, it had that.
Yeah, it
And
did.
I'm just like, the problem I have with that, and I'm going to say this, is that it's supposed to be that you care about the character. So, there's a character that is pregnant, and we find that out. Um, but it doesn't really matter because she's stuck in a spot where she can't get out and everything, right? So I guess that's the thing is like she's trapped and that sucks. But what I would love to see more in horror films is if you're gonna bring up something as dramatic as, oh man, I'm about to have a baby, and now then that person does everything they can to get that person out of this situation, including, saving them from being murdered by the killer.
Yeah, I mean, they were put in a rough spot. I mean, it was like, get out of the plane. We're all going to get butchered alive. Stay on the plane. We have all that much more weight on the plane, and now, like, we're gonna drown her even quicker and stuff. I mean, and yeah, a lot of them didn't have that likability level. Though a couple of them did have a little bit of likability to them, though. I mean,
I think
Dave.
a bunch of them had like I think I liked almost everybody in this movie. I mean, I like the actors who played all of them, every actor in the movie, but all the characters, some of them were a little least likable, than others.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, you have ones like Dave Sheridan's character, where's that one who's like, oh, I hope nothing bad happens to him. I mean, he's just that one like he's just too gullible and nice to be killed.
Well, let's go in the beginning of like the story. Let's talk about
Oh,
the
good.
story for it real quick.
Oh, good.
Um yeah, so take us in the beginning. What happens in the beginning of the movie?
Well, in the very beginning, we are actually introduced to like a little montage, like a little flashback, if you will, of like one of the earlier killings of Victor Crawley. It was definitely it was definitely a grotesque one, but not for what you would expect for you to get grotesque about, though, either. Uh,
Once again, it sets up for like a potential marriage, which is it was funny. It had some humor to it, right? Like,
oh,
I mean, anytime you put Jonah Ray in a scene with anybody, and that actress, I don't remember her name, but she was really funny. Like she was crying because she knew what he was gonna propose to her, and it just kind of, The only problem I have with that is it just kind of went on, a little too long, in my opinion. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I think part of it was they were just trying to grab that little bit of that, like fumbling around essence and stuff, to get around to getting to the point. I mean, heck, I remember when I did it for my wife and everything. I took her up to like this little hill, like it was a pretty good steep one, about a good 50, 60 feet up. And by the time we got up there, I realized that the ring slipped somewhere out of my pocket. Uh,
Oh, dang.
and it was fall. It was in a red box, and there was nothing but these red and yellowish and
Oh
weed.
God, yeah.
Yeah,
You never
I,
found it?
you know what? Surprisingly, I can honestly say, I think it took me about maybe 10 minutes to find it, and I found it. And
Okay, good.
yeah, I know. Thank God. I mean, then running back up, all catch out breath, and then trying to get her to do a slow dance with me while I'm catching my breath. It wasn't my finest moment.
It never really is because it's not what you like. You have this grandstand idea of what things are gonna how things are gonna go, and then maybe that was what the scene was about. Like, in a way, like, he had this great idea. He was gonna. I mean, I don't know though. Who proposes to somebody in a swamp? That's not really the most romantic. I don't know. To
I mean,
me,
and I guess
You're Hill, because you know what? I was thinking, if she said no, you could just push her down the hill.
like fine, go swim with the gators. You're just as
Right.
they are.
Here you go. Well, I'm gonna leave you if you say no. But no, they were both madly in love with each other, and she said yes, and she got really excited. And then of course they hear Daddy, our
Hmm.
famous hatchet call, basically, you know.
Yep. And just like two idiot cliches, they all say, "Hey, we should go check out that sound."
He was like somebody could be hurt, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like somebody's hurt.
Yeah,
And plus it sounds like a grown man saying daddy. It does
yeah,
not sound like a child saying daddy. That's
yeah.
creepier.
And it didn't sound happy or pleasant either. It was one that's like, you know what? That's not my business, and I'm not going to make it business.
I swear to God, if I heard a bellow of somebody saying daddy, probably like, yeah, time to go.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like,
He's not talking to me. I should just leave.
yeah, I'm not daddy, you know. So let me get the fuck out of here. So they don't. They go check and see if this person is hurt. And of course, they get, attacked by Victor Crowley.
They become the cliche opening kill scene like you get for all these good classic films. You always start off with a good kill or two
Or three.
or
Why
three.
not? As many as you can put in the first kill. And in the case of Ghost Ship, how many do we have in that one?
Yeah, we had a whole breath of them on that one.
That wasn't one or two. That was a few opening kills. That was awesome. Um, this one had, and once again, I think people like Jonah Ray, he was on, was it the new Mystery Science Theater 3000? He's been in a bunch of different stuff. He, I don't, are they still doing I heard they were bringing it back or trying to bring it back again.
Oh,
But just like with maybe a new crew or something.
oh, that'd be cool. I haven't heard about that one, but I'd definitely be game to watch it.
Did you watch the new one with Jonah
Uh,
Ray?
oh no, I watched the old series.
Okay, so there is a new series with Jonah Ray that's on Netflix, but it isn't. I mean, it's hard to beat those real robot, the people, from, what I mean? Like, it's hard to do that again without having the original people involved. It's just not the same
Yeah, it's
to me.
trying lightning in a bottle twice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some people can. I mean, remakes happen all the time, and some remakes are just as good, if not better, you know. Um, but anyway, yeah, so Jonah Ray and his new wife or new fiance die from the hands of Victor Crowley. And I don't even remember how they died.
Oh, what the dude? I believe it was something like he had something ran through the back of his head that popped his whole eye out.
Oh, that's right. Holy shit, I remember that. That was great because he was just all of a sudden behind him and just went, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he realizes behind him he's getting ready, and that's when he goes, "Oh shit!" and bow.
Yeah.
And then
That
the
that
got
would
her
have been
foot.
cool if it was 3D and the eyeball was.
Oh yeah, no, I actually just watched Friday the 13th part three in 3D recently. Seems
Didn't the
that.
eyeball come out at you or something?
Oh yes, it did that one. The harpoon scene still is one of the best ones in the bunch. That thing really shoots out far at you.
Is that on 4K? Do you know?
It might be. I mean, if anyone would probably have it or did it, it'd probably be a Shout Factory, I would imagine.
Something like that. Yeah. Um, or Paramount's been putting them out, I think, actually. Because, a lot of these companies, so, I do a show called Blu-ray Hunter and stuff, and I learn about a lot of things about Blu-rays and 4Ks and different things. And one of the things that I've learned is that a lot of these boutique labels like Scream Factory, Shout Factory, all that, Vinegar Syndrome, all these great companies, they get basically generally they get unless it's Scream Factory. Scream Factory gets real, like good, legit films like The Fog or Child's Play or that kind of stuff. Um, Other companies don't get that as much, and but a lot of the studios don't want to give those movies up. Like, who wants to give Friday the 13th up to another company where they're going to get all the majority of the money when you can just release it yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Unless they didn't think they would sell well or something like some movies don't, like a lot of trauma stuff goes to Vinegar Syndrome, and everything. That's great. Um, anyway, so yeah, the eyeball. What happened to the girl? What happened with the girl? I forgot.
Oh, first she had her fingers cut off. Ironically, the handset of where her
Yeah.
engagement ring went. And then she fell to the ground, and then he actually stepped on her, and he chopped off like he pretty much draw and quarter by like chopping off all four of her limbs, and then yanking out of the sockets after he chopped them up.
Yep. That was crazy. So after that, we come back to I guess present time, you
Yeah,
know.
I think it's something like I think they said it was something like 6 years, after the events of Hatchet 3, where Perry Shen is the lone survivor. He was apparently put on trial for all the murders, which is already comical in itself because when you think of Hatchet 1, 2, and 3, all those events happened within a span of like about 2.5 days. Those three films, it's like it's a one continuously long story, and you think of all the people that like you had a militia army in there, and you're going to tell me that this little Barry Sheen guy you think is the guy who took out all those like armed militia guys from like part three, or like just that whole like giant gangland of like like all the locals from the area and stuff out hunting them. You're going to try to tell me that this little guy was able to outwit and outkill all those people?
Right. And we forgot to mention Tyler Mane comes in for a little cameo in that scene with the two people, right? So
Oh yeah.
he comes in and he's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be, whatever, right?" And then all of a sudden he gets killed, and it's just insane that to think like, "Oh man, there's Tyler Mane who played fucking Michael Myers for like
Mhm.
1 second of a scene before he was killed." Like I was thinking he should have been, in it longer or something because like what I loved about the Hatchet movies is each one they had a had a icon go up against them at some point, right? So
Oh
like in part two, I think Tony Todd goes up against him.
Oh, not only just Tony Todd, but also R.A. Mickoff, who was
Uh,
Leather.
Leatherface. So we got Candyman and Leatherface in part two. Who was the big one in part three? I know Zach Galligan was in part three.
Yep. Yep.
From
Oh, but to do you one better, the opening kill scene for the very first Hatchet movie was Robert Englund.
yeah, but it was kind of a bummer when you think about it because you don't even I don't even think you see him get killed, right? You just see him
Well,
dead.
well, yeah, you do see him dead and all tore up and stuff, and like in the shed later on.
Yeah.
Well, their daughter finds him, but yeah, well, he was also one of the kills in that as well. So he did get kill Freddy as well.
Yeah, he killed Freddy, but like it would have been cool to see, Crowley versus Freddy in a way, and without it being Freddy, I mean, I know technically because in Freddy versus Jason, Freddy is this tiny, tiny man, and Jason is this big force of nature. And uh, but he's got the power of the dream stuff. He could do whatever he wants, but he's in the dream world. He's not in the dream world. He can't, it's harder for, he's going to be killed by Jason, So in this, he can't really can't really do the dream stuff because he's not Freddy. He's another character. He's like some redneck guy in the swamp, or whatever. With his son, played by Josh Leonard, Joshua Leonard, I think from Blair Witch. So it had a Blair Witch person and Freddy together. Like that was the cool thing about Hatchet is you brought in all the people from movies you've seen and they're all fighting Victor Crowley, or whatever in some way. It's
And
pretty neat.
yep, and he also kills Derek Mears in part three, which he was Jason in the reboot.
That's right. And in part three, Sid Haig's in it.
Yep, that is also true.
Yeah. Just looking at this going, oh
Uh,
shit.
and also Caroline Williams from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and Leprechaun 3.
And of course, we in the second and third, and a little bit of the fourth, we've got Danielle Harris, who Michael Myers is well, I don't really know because the thing keeps changing and everything. So who knows what you're gonna call it, this time, it's in one multiverse universe of Halloween, she was the niece of Michael Myers, you know. Later she was just completely taken out, and then she was another girl in fighting Michael Myers. She was it Nancy? Um in the Halloween remake with Rob Zombie.
Yep, no, she was in there too.
Yeah, so it was nuts. So it was cool to see these icons fighting a new icon, you know?
Oh, I agree. I mean, he's one of those ones that I really feel like should get a long stretch because you got some good new faces popping up now for the horror genre. Not that I wouldn't still love to see a good new Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street or Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, but I'm very open and game to see some new ones come on the forefront. And I think that's the reason why I like the Hatchet series so much is I felt like one above all Hatchet in the Victor Crowley character, I feel like is actually Kane Hodder's really first official horror icon character. I mean, yeah, you can make the argument of Jason, but it's like, yeah, but Jason was played by so many people over so many films. It's not like Freddy, like in Robert Englund, where the entire series was him, or even Brad Dourif voicing Chucky in the entire series and stuff. You know,
Well, until they did a remake of it where Mark Hamill is the voice of Chucky, which I don't even think was it called Chucky or something? I don't think it was called Chucky. I think they had a different name for him because it was just called Child's Play, but it um, wasn't the same story.
well, they at least did the TV series at least after that to
Hmm.
show. Don't worry, guys. We're connecting the universe still. We're still over here doing it. And that was actually the only one that in that series that wasn't done by the same director for the whole entire rest of the series, Don Mancini.
Hmm. Yeah. So but he did create the TV series, right?
Oh yeah, the series, the movies, it was all him.
Yeah. So there you go. And so here is Victor. Like I agree, because like Victor Crowley is Kane Hodder's first like franchise where he is the character. Nobody else has taken over for him. Nobody else is going to probably for like I think if the one day that Kane Hodder like retires from acting and says, I just can't do this anymore, I can't play Victor Crowley, they're just gonna retire Victor, they're just gonna not let anybody else because and they should, because in my mind, if you let somebody else take it over, it's just not gonna be the same.
And given the one who writes and who writes those stories and directs them, Adam Green, I wouldn't be surprised with him. I mean, you can just tell by watching his his scary sleepovers, to how he is, like to his TV shows, and I know that I've I have a Hatchet poster upstairs that has I think I have something like 20 autographs from all different people who have been in the films.
Do you have Holliston? Do you have the TV show Holliston?
Oh, I do. I love the series. And I even had the Christmas special too.
Which was so great because I need to buy the Holliston series on Blu-ray. I know there's two seasons and both are on Blu-ray, so I'm gonna buy. I think tomorrow night or so I'm gonna purchase it. It's like $10 on eBay, so I'm like that's used or whatever, but I'm like it's okay, I don't need a brand new, you know what I mean? Like version of it. But I'm gonna buy that just because it's a classic.
Yep. And yeah, I agree. It's a classic. And House is a perfect example. Like, when you go back and see that series, look at how many people from that series were in his movies. And,
Hmm.
and, and that's why I agree with you about Kane Hodder. I don't see Adam Green saying, "Oh, you can't do anymore. That's fine. I'm just going to replace you for someone else." Adam, I would just see him being more of that person, like, "Oh, you can't do anymore. All right, well then."
I see him as being the one guy that goes, you can't do more, just do one more. We'll have the final Hatchet movie,
Yeah.
because even though, and spoilers if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know, why you're listening to this podcast. If you haven't, go watch it on Tubi. It's free on Tubi. Um, even though they push him into the thing, he's just gonna come back. He's basically a ghost. He's not a human, being. He's the ghost. If somebody can just do that, chant again or whatever to resurrect him, like the little like I love the line where the girl who plays like Sabrina or whatever
Oh yeah.
says, she says, you're what is it? She says like, "Oh, you two brought back Victor Crowley." Yeah, whatever. Like, can you listen to yourself? You know, like, and I'm like, that's kind of funny. Like, you two brought back Victor Crowley. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, and the kills in that were all so fun and inventive, too and stuff. And I saw all those great throwbacks. It was like, well, he might like have like a like well, he can't get in the plane. It was like, well, he may have a high end power sander. Like,
Yeah,
how do we have a high power sander? It was like, well, one guy left here when I was here last time. Well, let's just hope after 6 years it doesn't work anymore. And sure enough, the sucker starts right up.
yeah, of course. Um, they. I do love the throwback that we get to see the Victor Crowley house again.
Hmm.
And stuff for basically the shed or whatever, like they go inside and stuff, and and it it you know it would be really funny if they had the budget to do this. This would be great if they had like a somebody maybe because there's a big joke about the fact that there's like twins that Perry Shim plays, right? He plays
Oh,
each character is like the twin of, a character that has died in the previous movie. So one point it was like Justin, and one point it was like, and you know what I mean? And so this newest one, was it Andrew or was it
Yeah, it was Andrew was the new one who funny just wasn't related, but somehow miraculously has the same DNA as they do.
right? Because that's what they were saying, stuff about the DNA, and he was like, I'm not sure how the DNA worked, but you know. So yeah, so the DNA, so like all of them are I think they're all twins, right? Because the first one point in Hatchet 2, he's looking for his twin brother who went out there. So I'm guessing each one was a twin.
Yeah, but they both got killed and stuff. And then the one we see in Victor Crowley is the one that was Hatchet 3, the one who was a part of the rescue EMS team and stuff.
Yeah.
And was able to escape only to be accused for being the ones who are for doing all the murders. Like which is just like when you see the size of everyone else who's been there and how fully loaded they were, like, and you think this little EMS guy on a boat like is
Is the
your
killer.
uh-huh.
Yeah. And did all of those grotesque, disgusting murders. I doubt it, especially when they're much taller, like got like Derek Mears or whatever, and people like that. I don't buy it either. But that's what was said. Um, we
It's just
haven't mentioned Felissa Rose, who you worked with, a few times, I think.
like her and Dave Sheridan both actually.
Yeah, they were both in Bloody Summer Camp.
Oh
When you
yeah.
were when you were there on Bloody Summer Camp with them, were you asking them lots of Victor Crowley stories?
Oh, I did, and not only that, like Jamie actually, my wife told Felissa like one of her favorite lines from it was when she pulled out the stickies and it was like at the sign going, oh, one, two, oh, this is a big one, three, like and
Oh
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
On the dicks, the yeah.
yeah,
That was a great line.
yeah, and our guy who was our cook, Christian, was going around just getting into character and stuff, and then she was like, "It's like, oh my god, he's being such a dick." Hey, Jamie, look, that's gonna be one, two, three, four. Oh, this is a big one. He's a real big one. He's five, six,
Nice.
for that one up.
That's funny.
Uh, but I
I
mean,
I love Felicity. She's got such a great sense of humor.
oh, she really does. She's just an absolute sweetheart. I mean, I tell everyone, when you see her at the cons or you're working with her on set, it's no different. She brings that same level of happiness and just energy to her wherever she goes, and she always just puts on such a fun performance, and everyone who's around working with her just has a good time. It's you can't avoid it. It's very contagious.
I've said this before on different like podcasts, but like I know her. Like, I'm going to tell you this actually. I'm going to tell you this. This is the first time I'm mentioning this. I actually knew about Victor Crowley before it was even out because I was talking to her. So she told me, but I had to keep it a secret, right? Which I did. Did not tell anybody, but she had to tell somebody, right? She had to say to somebody. I'm sure, other people might have known, but had to keep it secret, kind of thing. Plus, whatever. Anyway, I end up finding out about it, and she was so excited. She was on the phone with me. She was like, "Jonathan, I'm gonna be in the new Hatchet movie," and I'm like, like that's awesome. I didn't even know they were making one. It's like nobody knows. Like that's why we're keeping this a secret. And so I don't know if you know this. I'm sure you do, since you're a big Victor Crowley fan and everything. But they had a screening of
Mhm.
Hatchet. And it was going to be Hatchet, like the 10th anniversary of Hatchet. And so what they did was they had everybody get there, whatever, sit in the audience, and then either it started playing and then just messed up, or they came out and they said, we lost it. I forgot which one it was, but I think it was they came out and they said they lost the movie, they can't find it, and they really don't know what's going on. They can't, whatever. But we have this other movie, and so don't get up. Please don't leave. We're gonna show you this other movie. And they played Victor Crowley. So
Yeah.
everybody there had no idea. They thought they were going to the 10th anniversary of, screening of Hatchet. Instead, they were going to go see the new Hatchet, the Victor Crowley. And man, I wish I were there. I
Oh,
wish I had signed up for that. Damn it.
I,
Because I nobody
heard-
knew. I mean,
I didn't hear about it before it happened, but I heard about that event. I was like, oh God, I would love to have been there. I think he's gonna pull that stunt again. I'm telling you, like
in 10 years or so, or whatever, not 10 years from now, but like maybe 4 years from now will be the 20th anniversary of Hatchet. And who knows, 2027, if they'll do one more Hatchet movie and then it'll just be because they even make a joke that maybe he comes back every 10 years. I mean, why not, right? Why not
yeah.
have him come back the 10 years? I have a thing with I have a thing um with uh Adam that I love is that I was friends with him on Facebook. I think I still am, so please don't delete me, Adam, if you hear this. Um, but I'd actually so Adam had uh was doing those like, shorts that he does for Halloween. Do you watch those?
Oh yeah, his scary sleepovers.
No, no, no. He does every year he does a
Oh, the
short
Halloween.
for the Halloween shorts. So every year for Halloween he does a Halloween short. And I was a huge fan of the Tiffany problem. Um Actually, if you short film Saturdays in October, we already recorded it. Already did an episode of short film Saturday with talking about the Tiffany problem. So me and my buddy reviewed that. And that's one of my favorite of them. And then the it was I think I want to say it was 2009 or 10, maybe 11. I don't know, something like that in that area. He hadn't released a short yet, you know, and it was getting to be close to Halloween, right? So I said, hey, I wrote to Adam's page and said, or on a comment and said, are you planning to release another short? And he goes, oh my God, I totally forgot. Thank you for letting me, reminding me. That night or so or whatever, like the next day, they shot a whole short in one day. Guess what short that was?
Oh, which one?
The Jack Chop short.
Shut
It was the best short they've ever done. Like, I don't think I've ever seen another short from them. They've done a lot of great ones, but like that one was my favorite. It's just so silly and so funny, but they did that in one day, basically. Put it in and then put it out, basically got it edited, put it out. And I'm like, damn, because they're a team of, people who can just get shit done, and
yeah.
stuff. And whatnot. I love that. So they went out and made that movie, and that was actually in. Did you notice that was in Victor Crowley?
I thought I had a little nod to it.
Yeah, they had had a scene where on television, they're watching on the television is watching Jack Chop, and I was like, that's cute, you
Eh,
know. Because I mean, they own that, so they can put that in wherever they want, or whatever. Plus, it looks like a commercial, you know, for something. So I love it. Have you seen Jack Chop?
oh yeah, no, I mean, like I have to go back and watch it, but I used to watch all of his shorts and stuff. Like you said, I'm a big Adam Green fan and stuff. Like Barry and the Morrows, I was a big fan of that one. I liked Frozen a lot too. I mean, it's different than his normal stuff that he normally does, but I mean, it wasn't a bad film though either. I mean,
Well,
it's just
it was one of those times where there was getting to be movies where like open water and places where people are stuck in a situation that it's hard for them to get out of and it's scary and instead of like because to me it was like open water except instead of being in the middle of like the ocean with like sharks swimming around you, you're on a ski lift and you just can't like you're stuck there for until somebody lets you out or until you can figure out a way to get down. And then it's sort of terrifying idea that like what if we are stuck on this situation that we just can't get out of and we're, you know, what are we gonna do? So
Mm.
I love Frozen. We did that for Horror Film Lovers second season, I think. So I think it was the second season opener. So yeah,
Oh,
it was fun. So I'm glad we did this one this season, because I absolutely love Victor I love Adam Green. I think his humor and his horror work really well together.
I agree.
You know. The other thing I wanted to there's a movie that he did. I'm gonna look it up real quick. There's a movie he wrote and directed that's not out, and I was hoping one day, I don't know if it's just it can't come out, like there's legal issues with it or something. It's called Coffee and Donuts. Have you heard of
Oh,
this?
I have not.
So two friends, Adam and Steve, which I think are Adam Green and some other guy named Steve probably, struggle to get their morning radio program off their small town airwaves of Holliston
Ah,
and into the big time. Meanwhile, Adam struggles to get over a breakup with a longtime girlfriend and back into the wonderful and horrifying world of dating. And yeah, it stars him and Steve DeWitt. Um, and yeah, it's got his cat that he had for a while, Axel Rose, the cat, you know.
Excellent.
Now it's Arwen, the dog, who I absolutely love. It said Arwen was in the movie. I remember seeing a thing with Arwen's like, cover, like, case, but no Arwen. I didn't see Arwen, his dog in the movie.
Oh, no, she was in there. That at the signing, when that dude stormed off by that big busty girl holding the dog.
Oh,
That's
okay. That was
when he,
Arwen. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you listen to his podcast?
I used to back in the day. I haven't listened to it like in a
I feel
while.
bad because I haven't either. And I don't know if like I used to give to their Patreon, and I don't anymore because I just can't afford it. I'm just broke.
Who can? I mean, everything's gotten so darn expensive lately.
Everything's expensive these days. And I mean, I was only giving $3 a month, but like it's like
Yeah.
$3 a month, and I'm not even really doing anything with it. I'm not like because they give me the option on $3 a month to actually um help out with it, and stuff. But like it's eh, you know, like I don't know. I just haven't really been paying attention that much with other podcasts and stuff, and just doing too many of my own. It's kind of hard.
No, yeah. I mean, I wish he would go back and start doing scary sleepovers again and stuff. I know he used to actually run crowdfunders for those, and like where you could come on and be on set and work as one of his PAs for like the day or something like that. I would definitely, but I definitely would have considered doing that.
It's funny because people talk about all these crowdfunders. You guys run crowdfunders all the time for like Slasher Nurse and everything, and you guys do really well at them. So, congratulations to that and you and Dave. But for crowdfunding, if Adam Green ran a crowdfunder, I'd fund, yeah, I'd definitely give for that, you know. Um, I feel like there's so many people who do the crowdfunding all the time that it just starts to kind of get like old hat to me. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I'm over it.
Well, especially when like when you see them gain more money, but yet you don't see any improvements in the film whatsoever. So you're kind of like you start shaking your head like, all right,
So
well,
what are they spending that money on? Yeah.
exactly. I mean, that's always one of the big emphases is with Dave and I is like, it's like if we get better funding, then we need to make a better film, plain and simple. Because otherwise, why were people going to want to give us more money in the future if they're going to get the exact same product, regardless if you give us this amount or we get that amount, like we
We
got
give you $150,000. Are you gonna make a $5,000 movie, with it,
yeah
and you know what? And it may be also some of those filmmakers who end up getting that money aren't really that good at filmmaking. So they might have the more money, but more money doesn't make you a better filmmaker, you know? Like that's
Oh,
just the sad thing about it, you know? Like, right?
oh, yeah, no, I mean, and believe me, I couldn't agree more. There's a lot of people out there. I'm like, man, I know you have like the goods and the knowledge and would do this. It's just if you just had that capital or that following to get that kind of money, it's like the sky's the limit. But then, like you said, then there are people who get it, and you're like, do you like manage your money at all, or do you just say, "Hey, I need this. I'm going to give you this amount of money," without doing any of your homework on even ask yourself, do they even need that amount of money?
Oh no, most of the time they don't. Like you think about it, you're like one of my friends is like always telling me, man, why are they spending, 50 to 100 grand or whatever on a movie when they could just make it for 5 grand? They could make 20 movies for that amount of money, like, and I get that. I just my personal thing is if I were to get like say I were to get 100 grand for my next movie, it would be the best possible movie I could make on 100 grand. Like I wouldn't cheapen shit out. I would use that money to the full advantage. But unfortunately, I never got that much when I crowdfunded. I would be lucky if I got 3,000. I think that's the most I've ever gotten on stuff. And then that was only enough to make a little short, promo or something. Like I can't make a feature on that money because, it would be crap if I did. And I don't like my movies to look like crap. I want my movies to be better than, you know,
Oh,
that.
exactly. I mean, you I mean, you're putting your name on it. You want to give people a reason to keep on watching you, and and if you put out something that's just like, oh well, that's horrible. Well, I'm gonna make something else here real soon. Yeah, I bet you are. You know,
Right.
like instead if I put out something that catches their interest, go, oh well, hey, well, let's see what you can do now.
Well, to go back to Adam Green, he never needed crowdfunding, I don't think. I don't think he ever did a crowdfunder.
Not for the Hatchet series, but he did for scary sleepovers.
Did
Like,
he?
oh yeah, he did. Because I almost did one. I almost did to be the PA for a day and come on the set and everything. Just because like just on the off chance I could just win him over. But like, you know what, you're a fun guy. Like, I think I'd like to have you in one of my other films in the future. You never know.
You never know. That's you got to put yourself out there, man, and everything, and let people know. Like, you know, um, what I loved about this movie too is the fact that they had at the end of it this special thank Joe Netter, and I'm like, why did Joe get like now it intrigues me. What did he do is he just friends with Adam or like did he do something to help Victor Crowley out? I mean, I want to know that shit because I'm gonna message Joe later and be like, hey, I saw that you were the special thanked and Victor Crowley. What did you do? Like, what did you help out with the location or did you, help out get somebody or something? I don't know, you know? Like usually you don't, unless it's a crowdfunder, you don't special thank random people, or whatever. You special thank people who really actually helped you with the movie, you know?
I mean, trust me, if he ran a Hatchet one, I would be all over that shit.
You would, yeah.
Oh, I would be so fast.
Take my money, please. Yeah, well, that's the funny thing is like I guarantee you, because they have what's like known as the Hatchet Army and stuff. They even have like these shirts that say Hatchet Army on it and everything. Freaking Kane Hodder wears it at conventions all the time. And I love it. And I love that there are, people who just really love these series enough where I bet if he did do a crowdfunder, you know, it would be good, you know?
Oh yeah, I could see him getting 250, 300,000.
250, I say you would get millions.
You
That's
could.
my thing, Remember when like Veronica Mars ran a freaking Kickstarter.
Oh no, I don't remember that.
Veronica Mars ran a Kickstarter for their movie, and so if you watch that movie, there's all the credits and stuff from Kickstarter. So did Super Troopers. Super Troopers 2 is crowdfunded.
Super Troopers 2, I did know was crowdfunded, and they actually did really well too.
Yeah, well, I mean, which is weird because the I'm surprised Fox didn't just give them the okay. Their movie did really well. Like I don't know why it took crowdfunding, but sometimes people say crowdfunding as a way for people to connect with the fans,
Yeah.
and give the
Well,
fans an experience.
well, and it's more free money too because they're now given the money by the people to make the film that they want them to make instead of getting money through the studios.
So all they
Where
have to do is give them the rewards, that
exactly,
they don't have to pay them back anything.
like
Um,
all they
That's why,
owe.
like, Indiegogo tells you you're not allowed to say investors, not supposed to say investors because they're not investors. If they're investors, you'd be actually giving the money back.
Yep, in some type of way, have some type of compensation agreement and stuff. But anyone who even does that, like I'd say the majority of them, unless you get that rare time in the rough, getting those kind of shares, I think is almost pointless. Just because it's like they're indie films. What kind of money do you think they're going to bring in? Like, I've been a part of 20 of them. I've been a part of, in my opinion, some really good ones. Some I hope down the road might even turn into be a little bit of a cult classic. But even if that happens, I don't see it resonating much money.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've got we got Victor Crowley, which is a uh, an hour and 22-minute, by the way, movie.
One
Like,
of the shorter ones in the bunch.
yeah, and it's quick. Like, things happen really quickly, and considering that most of the movie takes place on a plane that's been, sort of um, demolished or whatever because it crashed, a crashed plane, it goes by like that. And it's mainly because of the lightning fast dialogue between all the characters, kind of yelling at each other, bickering or whatever. I love that Andrew is told like by Felissa, his agent, that he's going to be making $1 million. I talked him up to 1 million. I knew that was sketchy. I was like, no, she did not. You
Yeah.
know, she didn't talk him into that shit. But he buys it because he thinks he's going to be rich off this thing, and it's the dumbest mistake he made. You know what? Movie would have been over. Well, no, I mean, movie could have still gone on without him if he had just said no, but I mean, everybody would have died pretty much, I think, or so.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see anyone surviving. The only fact that he even had an inkling of what they were dealing with was their only bit of a survival at that point, and of course Dave Sheridan saving the day.
Well, who's your favorite character?
Honestly, it would be down to either Perry Shin's character, because you just couldn't help but feel bad for the guy. I did love Dave Sheridan's character a lot. I thought he was a great character. Really, he was just that kind of guy. Like you couldn't be mad at him. Like he was that a pinnacle definition of ignorance is bliss kind of character.
Mm.
Um, although I did love Lori Perez though a lot from Holliston. I thought she was actually
Oh, you
really
mean Laura Ortiz? I think that's
yeah,
her
Lori
name.
Ortiz. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I loved her absolutely. She was my favorite. Like, she's just always adorable. Like, I loved her on Holliston. Absolutely. She's just so funny, and like her characters are always sort of stupid, a little stupid. Like, just her, that's how she plays. And she did a great job in this where Dave Sheridan ducks her and she goes, I have a dick.
I know it's like
And
really
he was,
funny. Yeah,
yeah, he's like,
I
ugh. Like, nope, not interested anymore. So then later she says, if you find my friend, I'll marry you. And he goes, I'll hold you, something like I'll hold you to that. And I don't care if you even if you have a dick. And nobody had heard her say that before. So everybody turned and looked. And she's like, no, that I don't have a dick. You know? Oh, it's so funny. She was great. She was the best part of the movie, I think,
Oh,
my personal opinion. Now I
oh,
love
no,
Felissa, but Felissa I feel like got kind of shafted where she was like asleep a lot of the stuff. I wish she had been awake and arguing and stuff with everybody. I think that would have been great. But they had her like go night night, with some of the drugs and shit. So,
oh
you
yeah.
know.
The time she did have, she was funny and stuff. I really enjoy her. She did a really good job of playing that shisty, kind of agent, and she's like, "Oh, I told you you had this," but the fact that we're even getting paid, I'm taking the gig. Period.
Right.
uh, so I mean, I thought she was great in that altogether. To be honest, she just and her death was absolutely
That
awesome.
was the best death. I'm not gonna lie. Like some of the ones where the eyes are popping out, cool. But man, he like literally, like she said, what did the Sabrina chick say? She said, he had a um literal something with her. So to give people an example of what happened, if you don't know, if you've never seen it, but even if you do know, oh well. Uh, Victor Crowley takes her arm that is holding her cell phone and shoves it up her butt and basically through her whole body, and it comes out of her mouth. And they want to talk on that phone because it's the only phone that's working. And Sabrina's just like, that's so gross. Like that literally went through her body. Like, you know, that's
Yeah,
just,
but
don't touch that. But,
hey, if it means get a hold of help and get out there to get me out of this, I'll deal.
it's funny. Did you also catch the sleepaway camp reference with the dicks and stuff, like things like that? Like, her not having a dick and whatnot and having a dick. Like I thought, oh man, because I thought first thing I thought was sleepaway camp. And I don't know if that was like, I don't think that was planned because I don't unless Adam already had, Felissa Rose like on board to begin with, like was already writing it with her in mind. I think that was just anyway, just a joke, but it was so funny because now you're having the chick who, and now there's a phone going through her body, all this other stuff. Like it's just funny to me.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it was definitely a great kill. It was definitely one of the best ones in the bunch. Uh, and I definitely liked how that, like, a lot of people didn't catch it, or some of them did, but Victor Crowley even had the same nod ending as Jeepers Creepers 3, where it kind of circles back to the main girl sitting watching.
Oh, it was also Chucky did that with
Yeah, that too.
yeah, Chucky did that with the Christina Elise or so, I think, or maybe
Hmm.
it was in Alex Vincent too, like where they're just like sitting around, they see the news and they're like, I'm gonna go murder this. And I was sort of sad about that though, like because like Mary Beth lived, right? She survived. Why didn't they bring her back? I don't know.
Well, and that was the one loophole I was always wondering about too, was, why didn't she come forward? But funny thing is, the whole book that Perry Shin's character writes, I Survivor,
Hmm.
is an legitimate book that you can grab and read and stuff.
What? It's
And
a legit. They made a book called I Survivor.
oh yeah, no,
I'm gonna
we
look
actually,
this up. So is it on Amazon?
it might be on Amazon. I know, I think we got ours through Adam Green's store,
Oh,
which Ariscope Productions. But yeah, no, we definitely got a copy of the book. We even got Perry Shin to sign and even personalize it with "Stay Out of the Swamp," just like
Like,
Crowley.
that says by Andrew Young. That is awesome. So yes,
It,
people, for 11.99 paperback, you can buy I Survivor.
it's actually,
Oh Lord.
I
That's
mean, it definitely helps fill in some of the blanks in that 6 year marker from part three in Victor Crawley. Uh, he does talk about the girl. He goes, because apparently she would never come out, like, to his defense on it. He kept on saying, he's like, I don't blame you, but there are times I really wish you would have, to clear my innocence and stuff. I also understand why, you didn't want to and stuff. I just wish you would have, kind of thing.
Yeah. So everybody, oh my God, everybody is saying great things. Now, I don't know. Sometimes you can't buy that, maybe a lot of it's fake. But like a lot of people are saying that it's a really fun read, because about like, fake biography.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it really is a fun one. Like I said, like it helps fill in the blanks, like especially for all those who are really big Hatchet fans and were like, and wanted to get some more information. Well, what was going on between like part three and Victor Crawley. That book really does fill in a lot of the gaps on that one, and it's fun. Like it's what you would expect something to be written by Adam Green or something.
Yeah, so that's usually called transmedia. So what a lot of people do with franchises, these days is they'll do this thing called transmedia where they take stuff from the movie, right, or whatever. So the Hatchet series, right? And then they'll have like a book but it's not an adaptation of Hatchet or something because that's multimedia.
Mhm.
Transmedia is taking it and expanding upon the universe, right? And so that's what they're doing right there. If they create that book, you can go buy the book of the thing. I see that there's Hatchet comics that have other stories.
Oh
Each
yeah.
movie has like, or each book, each comic, if they made a Hatchet series, television series, that series would be different. Multimedia is like when Harry Potter makes the Harry Potter video game that's just like the Harry Potter book, just like the Harry Potter movie. They're all the same, right? They're just the same story, just told through, different medias. This is the different media done, and I love transmedia. Marvel does it all the time with different stuff, shorts, films, TV series, whatever. And they're just continuing storylines because you want to know what's going on with these characters after they're gone, right? And it's a very smart thing.
Oh yeah, DC's big on that one too. They always made comic books to follow along a lot of their successful video game franchises. Like they did one for the Arkham series, they did one for the Injustice series.
Yep.
Funny Justice series, it's actually one of my favorite comic book reads of all time. Great stories, great twists on all the characters.
Yep. But their
Really,
their universe and Marvel's universe is way different because they have, well, the multiverse and they have all these different things, period, all these different storylines and like nothing's really like nothing's really sacred. Like Iron Man can die, but then he'll come back in another comic that'll just be about a completely different thing, and it's almost like as if his death didn't matter. Superman died, and they're still making Superman comics, right? Like there was the death of Superman. I don't know if you ever read that,
oh
but
yeah,
yeah, I used to love that book. Books, because there were like different books that had the death of Superman, and and then when Superman was sort of reborn, there were like there's like a crypto boy or something, and then there was like some cyborg Superman, all this other crazy shit going on. But Victor Crowley is sort of like that in a way where, except it's more cohesive because they actually do follow along with the timeline of everything that's going on. which I
Oh
think is
no,
pretty cool. I'd love for them to expand more of the stuff that happens before the Joel David Moore, like before the original Hatchet. Like they did in the beginning of this movie, but like more stuff too, because he's killed so many people, you know.
yeah. No, I mean, yeah, because I mean, like he's been hunting those swamps for like decades. I mean, so there's a lot of actual old backstories you could do, like a lot of period pieces too. Like you could even hit ones like back in like like I actually have Victor Crowley go back to the '80s even, and you can
That would
make it
be
work.
fun, wouldn't it?
I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, 80s Hatchet story. Adam, we're giving you ideas, man. Come on. I say this, but like I know how hard it is to like raise money for a movie. And you can be like, oh man, Hatchet is a big cult series. It should be able to get investors. No, that's not necessarily the case. Just because a movie is successful doesn't mean people are interested in paying money to make it, and everything. And Adam Green, as much as he's probably, you know, well off himself, money wise, but like he doesn't have enough to just like make all these things himself, he doesn't own his own studio or anything like that.
Hmm.
So he can't just make whatever he wants, which I think people think filmmakers can just do that.
Well, I know he's got a really good producer, and funny enough, you see her a lot in Holliston. The one,
Sarah,
the one who plays the waitress.
is she Sarah Albert? Is that her name?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, I want to say Sarah Albert.
yeah, yeah. She's the waitress. Yeah, she's one of Adam Green's producers.
She was in the first Hatchet at least. Um, I think that's her name, Sarah Albert. Let me make sure. Yeah, so she's the producer of Hatchet. So in the first Hatchet, she was the girl in when they were walking around Mardi Gras, and you see some chick like puking, you know, in the
Uh,
background. That was her, which is really neat that she'll do like little cameos, but she was the one who really helped Adam Green get, you know,
oh yeah.
she like, fought for him to do everything, and that's what you need these days, as a director and writer and whatnot. You need a producer who takes charge and gets it done. You say what I need done, and then the producer tells other people I need this done, and they get it done. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
but they have to know what the freak they're doing, you know? Um, whoa. I did not realize she worked on Charlotte's Web stuff. She was
Oh,
the writer of Charlotte's Web. How do they do that? Charlotte's Web, Flack as Pigtails. What are these? Like video games? It says video, but I don't think it's a video game. It's like a behind the scenes, I guess. So how do you write it behind the scenes? Do you just write the questions? I guess. I don't know. Yeah, she did a bunch of the she was the director of a bunch of the um making of Hatchet stuff too. So I think that's pretty cool that she didn't just produce the stuff, she also produced content for the behind the scenes, right?
she,
That's pretty cool.
you know what she was doing?
Yeah, she was working working her producer magic, but also doing serious stuff. So, do they have anything? Are they doing anything new?
Funny enough, I've talked to a bunch of Hatchet alumni over the last 2 years, and all of them have pretty much have done the same thing. Like I would usually at some point meeting them and talking to them, I always would mention something like, "Man, I just hope Victor Crowley's not his last film." Like, I felt like he just started like a whole new set and series, to make more films and have it center around a new character if he really wanted to, with Perry Shin's new character, which I think is a great character to follow. And almost all of them said the exact same thing. Oh, you don't have to worry about that one. We can't say anything, but you don't have to worry about that one at all.
So he'll Victor Crowley won't be his last. I
No,
know
I
he
I think
has
he's
a
got.
movie.
Mhm.
What?
I think he's got two more films for the series.
And he's probably doing other stuff too. I know I've seen this for a while, so maybe it's not still happening, but he had a series that he was doing called Killer Pizza.
Oh,
So I'm not sure what that's about, or anything, but sounds like it
yeah.
might be fun for him.
Yeah. No, I definitely heard about that one. I have no idea what it's about, but I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see him do more stuff.
Oh,
I like what?
I was just actually just agreeing with you. I know COVID really messed him up a lot. He's definitely someone who is very strict and stern on that one, and definitely had a very giant fear of it, and definitely did not want to work or be around a lot of people for a while.
Well, beautiful things. I think he was making him and Joe Lynch, who were both the pilots in this movie, by the way,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty neat. Those guys have their podcast together, and that generates a good amount of money, I think, for them. So they get that money through that, and then hopefully they'll just continue to make, you know, content eventually. I know Joe Lynch has been doing a lot of stuff like constantly and everything.
Oh yeah.
And he's so nice. Both those guys, just so nice people. And um I love it when filmmakers become friends and they put themselves in each other's movies and as you said, like you see a lot of the same people. I was kind of thinking he's like the low budget horror version of Adam Sandler. You see Adam Sandler put all his friends in all his movies and stuff, and people get mad about that, but I'm like, why? Like he's earned it and he's very loyal to his friends. Like why are you gonna be mad if he puts his friends his friends can act. Not putting bad actors into his movies, you know.
I mean, like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and it works for a lot of levels. One, they already have chemistry and history together, so generally they already know what is expected out of them, and that goes for both sides of the party, both the writer and the director, but also the talent as well. It's like they have all those levels of understandings with each other, which also makes it easier to work with and also have fun with at the same time.
Hmm.
Uh, so I mean, I totally get that. I'm all for that. I mean, heck, I mean, Slasher 15, most of our films, you see a lot of recurring faces that have been in other of our films. Part of it is, they did a great audition, but another part of it is like we've worked with you, we like you a lot, and we definitely enjoy having you around. So it's a
A lot of
win-win.
times you write and thinking of people in mind anyway. Like
Exactly.
you're like a lot of writers, especially me, I'll write thinking, oh man, it would be great if this person was cast in the film or something. Sometimes you get them, and sometimes you don't, and sometimes you get somebody better, and sometimes maybe not as great, but still good. You know what I mean? Like you just never know. All right, well, I think that's gonna be about wrapping it up. Is there anything else we didn't hit on? Was there anything else you want to bring up?
No, actually, Hatchet series and Victor Crowley, definitely one of the best series is out there.
Yeah, I agree. And I know we didn't do it like we were gonna do it. We were gonna talk about the whole movie like throughout the thing, but I don't think we needed to, you know. We kind of did in a roundabout way, but I mean, the last thing I guess I'll share is one of my favorite scenes, the hotel scene, where the all three of them talk and you you see Laura's butt, but I want to know if that was a butt double. Because does Laura really, because you never see her face or you never see like you just see the butt, so I'm wondering if that was a butt double.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Maybe it's in the commentary or something, like, oh, that's not really Laura's butt. Those are always fun. Which, by the way, if you buy the Blu-ray or DVD, I think probably of Victor Crowley, you'll get commentary. They have a cast and crew or the cast commentary and a technical commentary, which I'm guessing the technical commentary is just a little bit more of the crew people talking about the making of it. When on the cast commentary is probably a little bit more lighthearted and fun. And they've got like featurettes of the making of it and stuff like that. So, I wish they got I don't know if they did a video of their premiere, where they psyched everybody out. You know what I mean? Like I think that would be great to get that as a feature. It's just like showing what happened, how they released it, you know?
I actually kind of well like the idea of like having a cast and like then also a crew commentary because the views just gotta be so different. It's like the cast one's all like, oh yeah, I remember that scene. That was such a great scene. Like, oh my god, I had so much fun in that scene. There were so many great fun times in that scene. And then go to the crew side like, oh yeah, I remember that scene.
That
Or
scene that took 5 hours to
yeah,
light and,
or
you know, right.
yeah.
Because like, yeah, you're right. Cast people, like the cast, they talk about the stuff they remember, and the crew talk about the stuff they remember, and the cast are gonna have a different response. So like the cast are gonna talk about being in the makeup trailer or being in that specific scene with that specific person, and the crew is gonna be talking about lighting the stuff and getting it all set up and what a bitch it was. Like somebody might have tripped over one of their wires or you know what I mean? Like things like that, which I think is fun, you know? I love having different multiple commentary tracks. So yeah. Um, you guys should do that for Slasher Nerds. Have different commentary tracks, one cast, one crew. Tell Dave that. And, yeah.
Oh, Dave, like, yeah, 5 hours there. Yeah, that one over there, that was also 5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what
that one,
Dave would be like.
yeah, like, yeah, you all those see all those places had in common too. What? Every one of them, I wanted to strangle you, Mike.
There you go. That's that's your answer, huh?
But he's consistent.
At least at least he hasn't probably strangled you yet.
Now, as he always says, he's like, I kill you, I fire you, but you just find your way back somehow.
Yeah. You're like a dog that they try to kick out and he just like goes, "Hey, I gotta go back home." You know? Like I only know this home. Oh Lord. I love you, Michael. I love having you on this show. And I'm glad you picked Victor Crowley because once again, I'm a huge Adam Green fan, so I will always be happy to talk Hatchet and talk. Uh, one of these days we gotta do Spiral, man. Oof,
Oh, there you
maybe
go.
next season.
I'd definitely be down for Spiral. I actually
Yeah.
that one recently with the wife too.
Did you?
Yeah, actually, I
You
did.
you never saw it before?
No, it was one of those ones where like it was on my mean to do list, and it just kind of got on the back burner. And then I was flipping around like on my streaming sites, and it popped up like, oh God, yeah, that's right. I haven't watched this one yet, have I? So I sat down and watched it. I gotta be honest. I mean, it wasn't bad at all. I really didn't mind it. I felt some parts were a little predictable.
Right.
But when you've been running a series that long, even like when you're refreshing it or revamping it or whatnot, your the overall like layout's still going to be there for you, and the uh, and as much as I love the Saw series, it was started off with good good gruesome kills and gore, with a good little fun twist. Like, okay, kind
Hmm.
of. In the over time, like that latter part just kind of went away, and it was just all about the over the top kills, which were are great eye candy, but it was just missing that element that the first few had that the rest of the series just started to lack in a lot. And I guess like Spiral was a little bit in that same way. It had great kills and everything. Like the story was a solid
Oh,
story.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about Spiral. There's a Adam Green did a movie called Spiral.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't talk about the Spiral from the Saw series.
No, which is funny because Adam Green writes these movies and then other people steal the title. Spiral and Frozen. Later, Disney stole Frozen, and so now you have to say Adam Green's Frozen. You can't because you have to separate it from Disney's Frozen. Spiral. The only thing is they stole Hatchet in a way because I used to read a book called Hatchet, by Gary Paulson that later did not become a that became a movie series that wasn't called Hatchet. The series was called White Wolves. The original one was called The Cry in the Wild. I don't know if you ever read those as a kid or whatnot, but or whatever. You can watch those. So Hatchet was this story about this kid who plane, kind of similar. Plane crashes. He's out in the wilderness all by himself, and all he has is a hatchet. And a bear comes, and a wolf helps him get, back to safety. So they do the movie A Cry in the Wild, which was that, and it starred Jared Rushton, who was in played the little redhead kid in Big. You ever seen that movie Big
Oh
with Tom
yeah.
Hanks? So he was Tom Hanks' little friend, you know?
Okay.
And then so that was that kid. Then in the sequel, Cry in the Wild 2, starred David Moscow, who was the little Tom Hanks,
Eh.
the little version of Tom Hanks. So both of them worked together and it was so neat. It was neat. And then so yeah, so it was sort of I don't know. It was kind of cool, and it was produced by Julie Corman, who was Roger Corman's wife. So so awesome, right?
I'm a big fan of Roger Cormick, so I mean, you know,
It's more like I don't know if you like it now because you didn't grow up with it, you know, and it's a kid story, it's like teens or kids or whatever. But I think you might Cry in the Wild is fun. It takes place basically in one remote location of like this area that this kid's in, and stuff. And he has to figure out how to survive before somebody finally will come and save him, or whatever.
okay.
So, yeah, it's a good Cry in the Wild is great. And Cry in the Wild 2 is my favorite. Just because it has that guy and it has like Zach from Saved by the Bell in it.
Uh,
It's got
Foster.
yeah, Mark Paul Gosselaar. It's got Amy DeLynns and Matt McCoy. It's just such a weird like group of people in one movie. We did it for Indie Film Cafe in season 3. It was fantastic. Just one of my favorite like things. Anyway, it's on YouTube, I think, if you want to ever watch it, you know. So
uh, no,
you're
no,
like,
definitely. No, I'll definitely have to check that one out. Actually, I mean, so I'm always interested in watching some new things.
I know. That's the beautiful thing about these shows is sometimes somebody will pick something I've never even heard of, and I'll be like, that sounds fun, or maybe it doesn't, but I'll still watch it. Like maybe I'll like it. You never know.
Oh, exactly. I mean, until you sit down and try and give it a whirl, I mean, you're not going to know for sure. I mean, yeah, maybe your expectations were right to say, yeah, no, not my thing. But and then there are times that there are things you watch where like you're like, oh, this is gonna be a shoe, I'm gonna love it, and you're like, wow, this
This
is
was
not,
not what I was expecting.
yeah. No, like I had one recently. Like I'm really into like mafia movies and organized crime TV shows and stuff like that. I was late on the bandwagon on getting on the Peaky Blinders, and apparently I'm in the minority on this one. I just finished up season two, and so far I'm not really drawn into it. I mean, I like the Sopranos. I liked Boardwalk Empire a lot. Uh, Goodfellas, Casinos, The Godfathers. I even have a little love for Godfather 3, to show you that I have, a very easy to appease kind of broad stroke. I just thought Peaky Blinders, man, it's like it has some good story arcs in there. The problem though is it just takes freaking forever to get to them. Like it just feels like it takes like something that you would have felt like you would have gotten to the point of within like an episode or two takes almost two seasons for them to get to. And
Yikes.
I'm just like, yeah,
They're
I've been
just
waiting
stretching it as far as they can, right?
exactly. And like it was time.
Which, I mean, I people in indie film do this all the time too, because uh, a lot of times they have to get to like the 80-minute mark, but they don't have enough story for it, so they just slow everything down and everything. And what should take them, whatever to get to takes longer because they need to get it to 80 minutes, or whatever, and it's bullshit, you know.
And the worst part too, like the organized crime mafia movies are probably the ones I have the most understanding for because I'm like, all right, you got to play out these stories more because there's usually some even another like underlining thing that you miss that's on the underlying thing that you just caught or something like that. Um, but this one just it's set up, but it didn't deliver.
Right.
I guess is the best way to put the series so far. I mean, I'm gonna go back and finish it up, but like I was like, I need something of substance, so I actually stopped it, and I've been going back and watching the Hannibal TV series again.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Definitely a
Yeah.
good.
I'm gonna go, I think tonight or tomorrow I'm gonna start Ahsoka, which I've been hearing mixed things. I've been hearing some people like the new Ahsoka show that's on Disney Plus with Ahsoka Tano show. So we'll see. I don't know if you saw it yet or not, but it
Uh,
just dropped today.
I know I don't keep up with much in the way of the anime stuff.
It's not anime.
It's not anime. Okay.
It is live action. It's Ahsoka from the Star Wars stuff. So
Uh,
it's on Disney Plus and it's Star Wars and it's Rosario Dawson's character that she was in the God, I can't even say the word right now. Mandalorian stuff.
uh,
I don't know if you've been watching those, but those are fantastic.
I try getting into the new Star Wars's. Force Awaken and Rogue One were like the only two I could really get like any kind of like
The
yeah.
TV shows I think are hit or miss, but some are if they're a hit, they're a hit, in my opinion. I have not watched all of Andor. Mainly because I feel like they put a lot of political shit in the real world into that, and try to cover it up with Star Wars. And I was just like, wasn't that into it. But anyway, that has nothing to do with Victor Crowley, so we probably should wrap this up. So thank you so much, Michael. Next week we have, I think, or not next week, next month we'll have my episode. I'll have something that I'll do, and then it'll be your episode, and that'll be October. Wait, no, November, and I think we're gonna stop the season on your last episode. Then we'll come back in March for a brand new season. But I think I just want 8 for this season because, like just get the season done. It doesn't need to have 10 necessarily. But I think the next season we'll try to get 10, you know.
Oh,
So
yeah. You know me, man. I'm always game.
I know. I think the next season's the 5th season too. You know, that's usually a big season for, a
Moving
lot
right.
of moving right along. So that'll be great. I'm really excited and can't. Yeah, exactly. So it's season 4 right now. So next season will be season 5, and so maybe we'll do 12 next season so we can make up for 8, this season. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I can't predict, but I can tell you that we will be back next month, and I don't even know yet what I want to do. It could be anything. So, I have ideas, but we'll see, you know. Um, but I want to thank you, Michael, because Victor Crowley is a great one, and I can't wait for the next one you pick too. You seem to have like so many different ideas. Like we did, was it uh the Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, and then we
That
do
that was fine.
what?
That was a real fun one.
I know, and you like the older ones. You like doing older ones. You're kind of like my version, another version of Paul. Paul likes to do a lot of the older movies, for Indie Film Cafe. Tend to stick to things in the realm of like 90s to up, sometimes 80s, but mainly 90s up, because those are the movies I watched, and stuff, the indie films I watched. And yeah, you tend to do all over, so that's
I
awesome.
genres.
What?
I got love for all those genres in horror. I mean, every one of them they have some films that were made that have a warm spot in my heart.
Well, I just want to let everybody know I'm also doing a new show in October that I'm releasing. I haven't mentioned this to many people yet. It's going to be called Classic Horror Films, and it'll be for Horror Film Lovers TV, the YouTube channel. So check that out. But it'll be a video show where me and somebody else will review the actual like classic horror films, like um, not classic like 50s, or we might have some of those, but like, the ones people know, Friday the 13th, Elm Street, the bigger titles that might not really get this, we don't really try to just have, the bigger titles in this one, necessarily,
I know,
so.
and it allows people to find some of those hidden Easter eggs that we were all fortunate enough to find throughout our lives and stuff. We're like, oh, what's this one day? And then you realize, oh my God, this is great. Why have I not found out about this until now?
Right, and the younger generation are finding out about these movies, and fantastic.
Exactly, and
A
that's
lot of
exactly.
streaming companies, that's why.
Hmm.
A lot of streaming companies have these films, like Max and stuff. So, all right, well, go watch the movie on Tubi, Victor Crowley, if you haven't already, and watch and listen. And thank you for listening to our podcast. So, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Michael.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
everybody have a good one. Bye.
Bye.